Did you know that 90% of engine wear happens during startup? That's right. Those first few seconds when you start your car could be silently damaging your engine without you even realizing it. Are you guilty of habits that could shorten your car's lifespan or lead to expensive repairs down the line? Today, we're diving into the most common mistakes people make when starting their cars and what you should do instead to keep your engine running smoothly for years to come. Stick around because these simple tips could save you thousands in repair costs. Mistake number 8. Avoid cranking the starter too long. One of the most common mistakes drivers make is holding the key in the start position for too long. It might seem harmless, but prolonged cranking can quickly turn into a costly issue. Your car's starter motor is designed for short bursts of operation, typically no more than 10 to 15 seconds at a time. When you crank the starter for longer, it overheats, putting unnecessary strain on its internal components and draining your battery faster than you might expect. Over time, this can cause the starter to burn out completely, leaving you stranded and needing a replacement. A repair that isn't cheap. What should you do instead? If your car doesn't start after 5 to 10 seconds of cranking, stop and wait for about 30 seconds to a minute. This gives the starter time to cool down and prevents overheating. If the issue persists, troubleshoot for problems like fuel delivery, faulty spark plugs, or a weak battery. Remember, cranking endlessly won't solve the issue. It only makes things worse. Mistake number 7. Using a weak or improperly charged battery. Starting your car with a weak or undercharged battery might not seem like a big deal, but it can lead to serious issues. A low-charge battery struggles to provide enough voltage for the starter motor, resulting in sluggish starts or, in some cases, a complete failure to start. Beyond that, a weak battery can cause voltage drops that may affect your car's sensitive electronics, including the ECU, sensors, and infotainment system. These components rely on stable power, and fluctuations can lead to malfunctions or even expensive repairs. How can you prevent this? Regularly check your battery's voltage using a multimeter. A healthy battery should read between 12.4 V and 12.6 V when the engine is off and 13.7 V to 14.7 V when running. If your readings consistently fall below this range, it's time to recharge or replace the battery. Most car batteries last between 3 to 5 years, so don't wait until yours fails unexpectedly. Watch for warning signs like dim headlights, slow cranking, or the battery warning light on your dashboard. Taking proactive steps ensures a reliable start every time and helps prevent costly electrical issues down the road. Mistake number 6. Starting with the hood open unintentionally. You might not think twice about starting your car with the hood open, but doing so can pose serious risks. Moving parts like fan belts and pulleys become exposed, increasing the chance of injury if you or someone else accidentally comes into contact with them. Additionally, loose tools or debris under the hood could get caught in the engine's moving components, potentially causing costly damage. Another risk comes from failing to ensure the car is securely in park or neutral before starting the engine. If it's in gear, the vehicle could lurch forward unexpectedly, creating a dangerous situation. What should you do instead? If you need to start your car while troubleshooting or inspecting under the hood, take a few precautions. Always make sure the area is clear of any tools, rags, or other objects that could get caught in moving parts. Double-check that the vehicle is in park or neutral with the parking brake engaged. And most importantly, stand clear of any rotating components to avoid injury. Mistake number 5. Starting on a steep incline without preparation. If your car is parked on a steep incline, you need to take extra precautions before starting it. Gravity can pull fuel away from the pump, making it harder for the engine to start, especially in older vehicles or when the fuel level is low. This can lead to rough idling, poor engine performance, or even failure to start altogether. Additionally, without proper preparation, the car could roll backward unexpectedly, posing a serious safety hazard. How can you avoid this problem? Before starting the car, ensure that the parking brake is fully engaged to keep the vehicle stable. If your fuel gauge shows less than a quarter tank, consider refueling before attempting to start on an incline to ensure the fuel pump has an adequate supply. For manual transmission vehicles, press both the clutch and brake pedals firmly before turning the ignition. Be ready to apply gas as you release the clutch to prevent stalling or rolling backward. If you're driving an automatic, keep your foot on the brake while shifting into gear, and release the parking brake gradually to maintain full control. Mistake number 4. Failing to check critical fluids before starting. Fluids are the lifeblood of your car, and neglecting to check them before starting the engine can lead to serious problems. Engine oil lubricates moving parts and prevents metal-on-metal contact. If the oil level is too low, friction and heat buildup can cause severe engine damage. Coolant is another essential fluid, as it keeps the engine from overheating. If the coolant level is too low, your engine could overheat, leading to a blown head gasket or, in extreme cases, a cracked engine block. Low brake fluid can also compromise your ability to stop effectively, putting you and others at risk. What should you do? Before starting your car, take a moment to check your engine oil using the dipstick. The oil should be within the recommended range and have a clean, amber color. Next, check the coolant reservoir and make sure the level is adequate. If you notice any signs of a leak, address the issue before starting the engine. Don't forget to inspect other important fluids, such as brake fluid and transmission fluid. A quick check can save you thousands of dollars in potential repairs and prevent major breakdowns down the road. Mistake number 3. Not preparing for extreme weather conditions. Cold and hot weather can place additional strain on your car, and failing to take proper precautions can lead to startup issues and long-term damage. In freezing temperatures, engine oil thickens, making it harder for the engine to turn over and for the oil pump to circulate lubrication effectively. A weak battery will also struggle to crank the engine, increasing the chances of getting stranded. In extremely hot weather, high temperatures put stress on the battery and cooling system. If your coolant levels are low or your radiator isn't functioning properly, your engine could overheat within minutes of starting. How can you prepare? If you live in a cold climate, consider using an engine block heater overnight to keep the engine warm and make starting easier. Ensure your battery is fully charged and rated for cold cranking amps to handle winter conditions. For hot climates, park in shaded areas or use sunshades to reduce the interior temperature. Always check your coolant levels before driving, and let the car idle for about 30 seconds after starting to allow oil to circulate properly before putting stress on the engine. Mistake number 2. Ignoring unusual noises or warning lights. Strange sounds when starting your car are never a good sign, yet many drivers ignore them until it's too late. If you hear a clicking noise when turning the key, it's often a sign of a weak battery or corroded terminals. Grinding noises usually point to a worn-out starter, while a high-pitched whining sound may indicate an issue with the alternator. Similarly, if your dashboard lights up with warning indicators like the battery light, oil pressure warning, or check engine light, you should never dismiss them. These lights are your car's way of telling you something isn't right, and ignoring them can lead to major repairs. What should you do? If you hear a clicking sound, check the battery terminals for corrosion and ensure the battery has enough charge. If you notice grinding, have your starter motor inspected before it fails completely. Whining sounds from under the hood could mean a failing alternator, which should be addressed immediately. When warning lights appear, refer to your owner's manual to understand what they mean and take action as needed. In some cases, it may be best to avoid driving until a professional has inspected the issue. Mistake number 1. Starting a car that's been sitting for months without inspection. Leaving a car parked for months without use can lead to a variety of issues, and starting it without checking for potential problems can be a costly mistake. Fluids can degrade, seals may dry out, and fuel can become stale and clog the fuel system. The battery may also lose its charge, and corrosion on the terminals can prevent the electrical system from functioning properly. Additionally, rodents and pests often nest in unused cars, chewing through wires and hoses. What should you do before starting? Before turning the key, perform a thorough inspection of the vehicle. Check the oil level and quality. If it looks dark or gritty, change it. Inspect the coolant reservoir to ensure there are no leaks and that the fluid is clean. Test the battery using a multimeter. If the voltage is low, recharge or replace it before attempting to start the car. Examine the tires for cracks, flat spots, or low pressure, as sitting for extended periods can cause tire deterioration. If the car has been sitting for more than 6 months, consider draining and replacing the fuel, or adding a fuel stabilizer to prevent clogs in the system. Lastly, inspect the engine bay for any signs of pests. Look for chewed wires, nests, or droppings that could indicate a problem. There you have it. Avoid these mistakes and follow the right startup procedures to keep your car running smoothly and efficiently for years to come. A little attention to detail can prevent costly repairs and save you thousands in maintenance fees. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with fellow car owners. Stay tuned for more budget-friendly car tips from Budget Garage.